Good morning. It might be a cold and rainy Wednesday in Boston, but I just came into the house and look at this. Gruni's getting ready to study with 50 ladies, Rosh Chodesh Society. They get together once a month to have a brunch and study, and the ladies don't get deterred. Soon there'll be chatter and noise and voices of study. What a beautiful thing. You know, today I got a video of an Israeli soldier putting up a flag, hoisting an Israeli flag on a place called Shouting Hills. And there's a lot of significance there. And that's what I want to share with you today. But before that, I want to share a Torah thought. And the Torah thought is like this. In this week's Torah portion, we read, as I mentioned earlier this week, Jacob reuniting with his brother Esau. Really first confronting him, but Jacob is hoping that they can make peace. And Jacob prepares in three ways. The first way Jacob prepares is with gifts to appease his brother and to say, listen, what do you want? I'll give you the blessings of dad. Don't worry. It's not like I'm uber wealthy and I'm ready to share everything with you. He prepared for war and he prepared to pray, of course. And the verse says, Vayiro Yaakov Ma'od. Jacob was very fearful. Vayetzer Loi. He was distressed. And the commentaries say, what's going on here? Why does it have to say twice? First it says, Vayiro Yaakov. Yaakov was fearful. And then it says, Vayetzer Loi. He was distressed. Why the double language? And then Etziv gives a beautiful commentary, one of the commentaries. And he says like this, Vayiro Yaakov. Jacob was fearful. He was fearful of his brother. Esau was coming with 400 soldiers. He said, what's going to be with my family? But Vayetzer Loi, he was distressed. Why was he distressed? He was distressed that he was fearful. He says, why am I scared? God promised me that I will be saved. God promised me that he will take after me. Why am I scared? That's what made him distressed. And the truth is that we see what happened. He made peace with his brother and he continued building the Jewish people as God had promised him. But when I saw this commentary, it behooved me to think about the remarkable IDF in the past 15 months. Jacob was distressed. Why was he distressed? Because he was fearful, even though God had promised him. But the IDF had no fear. The IDF soldiers, young kids, 20, 25, reservists, 30, 40, people with families, witnessing the barbaric acts of Hamas, seeing what's going on, that were attacked by 7 different nations. They didn't fear. They fought with heroism, with courage, with strength. And look where they are today. Iran, they bombed all their defenses. Iran has no proxies anymore. Hamas is decimated. They're begging for a deal. Hopefully a deal won't happen. Hezbollah was crushed. They came on their knees begging for a deal. And of course, we know what happened. And look what happened in Syria. And look at all the haters of Israel. I think about these remarkable IDF soldiers. And I think about Jacob. Jacob was fearful. And that's what distressed him. But the IDF wasn't fearful. They weren't distressed because they had faith in Hashem. And look at the successes they had. So what's Shouting Hill? In 1967, when Egypt and Jordan and Syria attacked Israel, and Israel had the remarkable victory in 6 days, they captured the Golan Heights. But when they captured the Golan Heights, many of the Druze became part of Israel. But there was some communities like Hayder and other communities that remained part of Syria. Now, they were separated. Part in Israel, part in Syria. Syria wouldn't allow them to come to Israel. So what did they do? There was this hill called a hill between the two villages. See, most of the Druze are around Druze Mountain. So there was a hill there. And what did they do? They kept on shouting from one side across to the other. And it became known as Shouting Hill. When the rebels took over, the Druze that remained in Syria, they remained loyal to Bashar al-Assad. And they were very fearful that the rebels would kill them. And in fact, Hayder, that community, one time in 2013, the rebels came in and killed 7 Druze. And it made demonstrations in the Golan why we are not protecting them. And again, in 2013 and 14, when they entered, and tried to kill Gadi Eisenkot, who was the general, the chief of staff of the IDF, warned them in 2017 that if you fight with the Druze, we will stand to protect them. And Israel brought tanks to Mount Hermon to protect the Druze in Hayder. Now, when Syria fell, Israel took over Shouting Hill and reunited the Druze with their brother Druze who were in Syria, protecting them from the rebels that they shouldn't get killed. I think about this remarkable little Shouting Hill that Israel actually captured for a drop during the Yom Kippur War, but then gave it back when there was the settlement with Syria. And for 50 years, these families have been separated. And these Druze on the other side were being killed by rebels since 2011. And Israel came and protected them. This is the story of the Jewish people. Jacob was Vayir Yaakov Mo'id. Jacob was fearful, but that distressed him. But his children had the faith in God and weren't fearful and succeeded in repelling their enemies. May Hashem watch over Israel and over the Jewish people, and may we all have faith in what God had promised us and not be fearful, and know that although we see so much anti-Semitism and hate all over the world, we will succeed because God has promised us.